What is up, YouTube? Joe Wager here. I'm going to make this one quick. I feel like all my videos have been like 20 minutes long, and you guys should not have to sit through that just to get a few pieces of advice. Let's get right to it. First off, we have Ben Northrop. I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Ben, this is his first technical analysis, so we're going to go crazy on this one. We're comparing to Simon Peterson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You're probably wondering, why the heck did you choose this guy as our model for today? I don't know. Honestly, I have like a freaking library of videos, and I was watching Ben. I was like, you know what? I feel like he needs to see this video of Simon. I don't think this guy Simon gets enough credit for how pretty much his technical abilities in the circle. As you'll see, I'll play each video 3 times, the usual, and we'll get on with it. Also, this little thing that highlights body parts, it's pretty cool, but I don't feel like we need it. So first, let's watch Ben.
I just flipped with this. How long do you got?
Awesome. Let's take a look at Simon.
Ja, bättre. Snyggt.
Oops.
Ja, bättre. Snyggt. Ja, bättre. Snyggt.
Snookt. Alright, I don't know what that means. Cool. We got our footage. Let's get to work. Let's get right to work. Ben, this is probably not the most important thing in your throw, but it's the thing that stuck out to me the most. It is your sweep. If you watch all the other videos I've posted of technical analysis, the sweep is something that I've been kind of just pointing out recently. And yours, I feel like, is stopping you. Before I even say anything, I want to take a look at a few things. And I like doing these. I don't want to just feed you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish and feed you for a lifetime. So what I'm going to try to do is try to get you to walk through this. And anyone who's watching this, here's something you can do. If you watch your throw and you're like, I don't see anything wrong, here's some things you can look at that will help you figure out things, even if you don't see them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the screen on each throw right when the right foot comes off the ground, the second it leaves. We're going to say right there for Ben. Let's take a look at Simon over here. Right when his right foot leaves the ground, I'd say it's about there. So, off the bat, let's look at the difference. Simon is more behind. His upper body is not as far ahead as yours, Ben. Your discus is further ahead than his. Your left arm is further ahead. Let's say you got a Tony Stark Iron Man laser beam coming out of your chest. Where's yours pointing? Now, where's his pointing? His is pointing right at the camera. Yours is already ahead. This automatically tells us your upper body is relatively ahead of your lower body, more than it should be. Now, I'm not done yet. Watch this. Now I'm going to stop the video right when we'll do it when your left foot comes off the ground. Right there. Right there. Let's take a look at where your right foot is, because that's important here. Your right foot is not very close to getting down. Simon's is like 2 inches away. Look at where your Tony Stark laser beam is pointing. It's still kind of... this is interesting because there's not a huge difference in the upper body. He has his arms in a similar spot, but you appear to have... Is it going to help me at all? Not really. If we look at your Tony Stark laser beam, yours is pointing more towards the left side of the screen, whereas his is still pointing into the sector, which is pretty cool. This leads me into my final point with this. Let me stop the video when your sweep leg hits the circle, right there. This is where you're going to be like, what? Right there. First frame, when the right foot touches the circle. Let's see. His left arm, and now Simon is by no means a textbook left arm technique. He does something that not a lot of other people do. I wouldn't tell you to do this, but I wouldn't tell you not to do it because it's working well. Your discus is ahead of his. That's point number one. Your left arm is also way ahead of where his would be. His is right here where yours is about 90 degrees ahead. Actually, we could fairly say that would probably be 120 degrees. No, 115. You know what? Watch this. Alright, that was a little off. Alright, this is not working. Sorry. You're a little ahead, okay? Left arm is ahead. Sorry, I got totally sidetracked again. Tony Stark laser beam. Yours is starting to face in towards the camera. His is still facing probably left sector line when that right foot comes down. Let's look at the left leg. This one. It is pretty interesting that yours is ahead. I think the reason yours is ahead, though, is not because it's faster than his, but because this leg is just getting down too slow. So if I were to put your upper body in the same position as his, maybe right. Oh, this is tough. Right here, his lower, if I were to take your upper body, just this, just your torso, it's probably, this is tough because you're at a different angle. It's probably facing the same direction that his is. You have your chest down a little bit more. He manages to keep his chest pretty upright here, which is miraculous. Where was I going? Oh, so your upper bodies are the same here, okay? I've gone ahead and done that, but now look at the difference in your lower body. He has his right foot down. Yours is way behind. His left foot is already up and getting to the front of the circle, whereas yours is still on the ground. So, in conclusion, real quick here, your lower body's behind. You need to get it ahead. I've said this in every video. Your lower body might be behind or your upper body might be ahead. There's two ways to think about it. Many coaches will say slow down the upper body, when sometimes you can accomplish the same or better results by just speeding up the lower body. Now, if you're a beginner, I don't suggest telling anyone to speed up anything, but if you're a proficient thrower, and Ben, I think this goes for you, the lower body needs to get faster. You do need to maintain some control with the upper body here because this chest is definitely opening up too quickly. You need to control that. Everyone needs to control that. I need to control that. I suck at that. So I can't be coaching you and telling you, hey, this needs to get better, because I myself am still a student of the sport. But it is something that I confidently feel that you need to improve in. Let's move on from the sweep because we just spent 9 minutes talking about that. Let's see where you catch the disc, huh? We have contact. And you know what? I'll give him that. That's pretty nasty. I'll give him contact there. This is interesting. Let's look at your Tony Stark laser beam. It's kind of pointing out here. You're opened up a little bit. What I don't like is that heel is on the ground. So let's see if it's able to turn. I haven't watched this yet. Let's see if Ben is able to turn his foot before it comes off the ground. Let's see. You know what? I will be damned. That is impressive. It does come off a little early. But Ben, what you're doing here is actually amazing. You're able to turn your hips much better than I would have anticipated. That's your freaking superpower right there, is being able to get those hips pointing into the sector. Amazing job with that. The way you did it was interesting, but you did it. Now, what we need to work on is, again, getting this foot down a little sooner. If you can, watch this foot. Everyone watch this foot right here. When I go, see that the foot is unable to turn when the heel comes down. Let's see how Simon does when his foot comes down. It stays moving the whole time. Land. Of course, you can see the slowest part of his foot turning is the closest to the heel coming down to the ground. But he still manages to keep it turning the whole time. And look at this. When he releases, he's got his shoelaces pointing down the left sector line. That is, or you could say his toe or his kneecap pointing down the left sector line. That is one of the most beautiful lower body technical models I've taken a look at. I love that there. Another thing I want to point out, this is a little off to the side. I've been having a lot of Gerd Cantor models on here, and he always extends his leg really hard about right here. Simon doesn't extend it as hard. The fundamentals are all still there, but if you're someone who really struggles to extend that leg, that's something that Simon and a lot of people get away with. You don't really have to fully extend that leg. Of course, you look at 90% of the folks who are throwing in the 70 meters, and they all have like full extension of that sweep leg. I'm just saying, though, it's not a must do. Let us continue. One thing I like to look at is where the left arm is when you get, we'll call it double contact. That just sounds cringe, but I guess that's what it is. Where's that left arm? Boom. Not bad. Let's see. Yeah, your left arm is not bad there. Let's see if it opens up. Yeah, Ben, you're doing an awesome job. Most people struggle with pushing the discus, but you see this left arm going from here to here. That's pulling the discus. What you have here is that stretch across your chest. That is what's throwing the discus, and you've already figured that out pretty well. Look at that. You have your natural block. This left arm, everyone watch the left arm. Boom, block, and it comes around. What I do see here is the lower body kind of falling apart a little bit. What I would suggest to you or prescribe to you for your off-season training is a lot of non-reverse throws to kind of get better at, anyone could say anything about non-reverse throws, but I do feel like they help, or at least in my opinion, they help me to fully deliver what I've produced in the back of the circle into the discus before I leave the ground. Let me rephrase that or say that again. Non-reverses, meaning throwing and keeping your feet on the ground, like Robert Harding. Non-reverses teach you to fully deliver all of the energy you've produced in the circle into the discus before you get off of the ground like that. Is that helpful? I'd say so. If I were doing this, I myself would do a lot of non-reverses, as anyone should. So, Ben, sorry, I forgot to bring this up earlier. Your sweep leg, you're kind of leading with your knee. We'll watch leading with the knee. instead of leading with the inside of your foot. That's something to work on. Simon here also keeps his foot relatively close to the ground. Look how close it is to the ground from here to here. That's pretty interesting. Your foot is just dragging behind your knee though. So that's something to work on. Control the upper body. Slow it down. Fix the sweep leg. Lead with the inside of your foot. Don't lead with your knee. Don't drag the leg around. Get that leg leading. Okay? If you could somehow extend your leg right here and lead with the inside of your foot, that would not be bad at all. So you have an awesome foundation, Ben. Just a few little things in the middle that are messing everything up. Your sweep leg is just slow to get to the ground. It throws you off a little bit. You're able to execute pretty well with your finish, but obviously you haven't set it up perfectly with the issues in the back. Let's see. You're also kind of, I'm sure that probably doesn't feel amazing. You're throwing it a little to the right, but sometimes it does. I don't know, I guess I do the same thing. One thing you could work on is not pulling the left arm back as much. Give me a second here. I'm taking a look at this. Let's look at orbit. Yeah, when you watch the video, I forgot to do this again. When you watch the video, you can just see how the upper body rips open, and he stays at the same speed. Rips open, just constant turning. Instead of a slow opening up, fast feet, and then smack it.
Ja, bättre. Snyggt.
Snarked. Yep. So, sorry, I need to work on this. I'm just all over the place here, but again, slower with the lower body. I did want to bring up your orbit. One thing that helps people, and this doesn't work for everyone, it can ruin people. It actually made my technique worse for like a whole year, is leading with your palm instead of the back of your hand. A total opposite would be Sam Mattis. You know, right here, you watch Sam Mattis when his discus is pointing the circle, he has his thumb in the ground and the back of his hand leading the discus. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it is the opposite of a little bit of what Gerd Cantor does, Simon does. Look, he's leading with his palm, right here, palm of his disc, is leading all the way up until, I guess, the whole time, and then just flattens out at the last second. I have tried this, and what I've found is that leading with your palm like this gives you the feeling of dragging the discus a little more. I felt that when I lead with the back of my hand or my thumb, the discus just somehow gets ahead of where I want it to be. So, Ben, that's something to try, is leading with your palm. One thing to be careful of, though, and this is where I got messed up, was it put a lot of strain on my bicep, and what I ended up doing was unconsciously bending my bicep while I threw. I would have like a slight angle here, and it wasn't good. You can understand how that would not be good to have a bent arm as your throwing arm. It was bad. But Ben, give that a try. Try leading with the palm of your disc, thumb pointing up. If it throws everything off, don't worry about it. But it's worth a shot for keeping this discus behind you out of the back, because you can see it opens up and flies ahead right here. Your orbit, let me look at your high and low points. low, maybe? Low. This stays at the same height right here. Comes up. Where's our high point? It's hard to tell. Say high point's right here, which is good. It's just not high enough. You know, the discus is at your shoulder height, maybe a little bit below, whereas Simon hits his high point right about here, actually. So, but yeah, you can see how that's a pretty big angle. Simon might be hitting it later. It's just hard to tell because the height of his shoulder drops from here to here. Nah, I'm overthinking. Yeah. So get the orbit a little bit higher, but again, prioritize getting the discus to drag behind you. Lastly, work on some non-reverses. Keep working on pushing the ground away as you deliver the discus rather than jumping and then throwing the discus midair. Also, you're doing a reverse, but you're landing on the same foot. It's funny, I used to do the same thing my freshman year of high school. Watch the video I posted about, what is it called? I think it's like a simple approach to learning the reverse/switch. Go watch that video. It's going to completely tell you how to reverse properly, and it'll probably help you throw further, honestly, in this case. Ben, what I'm seeing is awesome, and keep sending me videos for me to help you out with. Look at that. Good job with the tight knees. We just want that foot. That foot's just dangling out there and flopping around instead of leading with your knee. Again, this is kind of like your second sweep, I guess you could say. Simon isn't saying, oh, let me get my knee to the front of the circle. He's saying, let me get this foot to the front of the circle. Deliberately. Think about that. But, sorry I got sidetracked a few times. I regret saying that this would be a short video because it's not a short video. But now you have a checklist of things to work on. And yeah. But awesome job, Ben. Keep sending me videos. And guys, if you're interested in getting a technical analysis, message me. Instagram would be the best place. Even if you comment on a YouTube video, I'm just going to tell you to DM me on Instagram because it's really the only place where I make the sales. So, yeah, but thank you for watching, guys. If you have questions, comment below. If you have video ideas, comment below. And awesome job, Ben. I'll see you guys later.